Let's be another minute here. I'm still just kind of finishing setting up. In the meantime, how are you guys doing? How was your, what day is today? Yeah, it's Tuesday. I hope your Tuesday is going well. Duplicate. Why is this being stupid? Okay. Okay, that works. Okay, that was weird. Hello. It seems a little not that quiet. Let me turn me up. All right. Volume test, volume test, volume test. That's about where I want to be, I think. We'll do it right there. All right. I changed some compressor settings on my mic, and so dropped the volume a little bit. Hello. Okay, now I'm done setting up, but now, so there's the camera. So, okay, so I've got a tandem tab. These are Sociables, is a local cidery near here, and they do these limited releases where this is a cider that has blood orange infused in it. They actually have a banana cinnamon one that just came out too, and they kind of go cheap with the labels sometimes, where it looks nice, but it's a can that they just put a sticker over, and so I'm like, what's under the sticker? There was one time that I looked at the top and it was little pictures of an apple, but it was for a mead. I'm like, mead's honey, there's no apple. So I peeled the sticker off, and it was actually their can for cider that they put a sticker over and then sold it. The can still looks gorgeous, but it's funny. But they're really, really good. I'll check it out later. I'm not going to do it in stream here. Anyway, okay, so I did some testing for the audio again. I didn't really do anything, but I think from some of the changing of stuff for Ciderfest that, which was just last weekend, I can't get the error to duplicate. I can't get the same problem to come up again, and because of that, I'm hoping that it's just solved. So, I'm just going to play things like normal in the background, and you're going to have to let me know if there's an audio issue again. So, like if it starts skipping in the background, because I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's causing it. But one interesting thing that I had with that was if I loop the audio for my system back into my own headset through Streamlabs, it ran perfectly fine, but then I was able to get the recording that showed the issue, so it was only on the encoding of the recording, not in the audio played back to me. Really weird. So I'm narrowing it down slowly, but I'm hoping it's not it's gone. So again, let me know if suddenly it starts skipping, mainly so then I forgot this is still there. Mainly too that if so you guys aren't listening to the audio being all goofy. All right. But I hope you guys are having a good week. I always mix up my Tuesdays and my Fridays, so it's I wish it was Friday, but I have Friday off. I am highly considering rendering it out with the lights off, because I feel like it actually looks better. I could maybe balance out the lighting to actually work with her, but The issue I see with that is it's going to cause her eyes to probably be too bright, just because of how the lighting stuff works. So, I don't know. I'm thinking I might just do that though. I want to try to have this done today. I forgot how far we are in it though, so we'll see in a second here.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made. Ah, piss.
Probably not, but see what we can get done. Let's see here.
Becoming a
Something wrong with the lip syncing right here. Xbox Series X Day? Did you get yours? Oh, I didn't order one because I don't care about console. I'm more worried about like all the I'm trying to get a Ryzen 59 or 5900 and stuff. So like that's the stuff I'm watching right now. Let's see here. So her lip syncing. I think I need more closed, more teeth. This doesn't really look like so the M hits right here. So this needs to all kind of shift a little bit.
Becoming a unicorn was a unicorn.
This is why sometimes it's nice to come back after a little bit just to see. You can start seeing some places to improve.
Becoming a unicorn was
Oh, also, I haven't actually played with the jaw yet, which is actually very important as well. Oh, sunset. Well, I know, actually, I have, Discord had it where you get a free 3 months of Xbox Pass or whatever. Xbox is selling a experience instead of a console now, where it's subscribe to their service and get lots and lots of cool stuff, which actually so far the value is kind of high. It's good stuff, with only higher value I see in the future. That's why with the console, it works so great that if you're a PC gamer or a console gamer, you both sides get a good benefit from it. But oh yes, waffles. I guess audio only would be kind of weird. Oh, I moved the camera. This is a cheat you can do. Copy. I'm going to copy all the mouth. Then I'm going to undo until the face comes back, and then paste.
Becoming a unicorn was the becoming a unicorn.
So I think that what's bothering me right now is the mouth is closing a lot for this right here. Unique. Right here. I feel like this probably wouldn't close so much. And this probably needs O more, like way more O. Let's just go. It probably works. Most of it is inclusive PC, so I think it's better to have PS to PC if you can spend your money. Yeah, that's. Yeah, sorry. And personally, I've always been more of a fan of the PlayStation's exclusives. I only own a PS4 because it was a gift. I never really intended to get one myself, but the games that I have played on there have been really good. But I never had I had an original Xbox that I modded and a 360 release box for quite a while. I ended up getting a Halo Reach 360 later just to play Reach essentially. But then I never really got back into it. And once I got into PC gaming, I kind of just backed completely away of console. Eating cereal. What kind of cereal are you eating? Lucky Charms.
Unicorn with
God damn it, I moved the camera again. Actually, how am I moving the camera? Oh. Now I should be able to. Ah. I think that's a glitch. Camera 3 that I made was a new camera I made on the previous shot, but I closed it and then reopened the same file, and it maintained that camera as a viewpoint. And these shouldn't be there either. Whatever. Okay, but okay, I fixed that issue, so it wasn't really that I was doing that.
Unicorn was the best.
You guys spoke a lot. PS5 has exclusives that you can't get anywhere else. Kind of like, actually, most of the exclusives that have been bugging me lately are the Epic ones. Like Godfall looks really good. That's a game, like, I love that kind of game, and that's an Epic exclusive. But I refuse to get Epic, so well, I'm just gonna wait until the exclusivity runs out. That's what we did with Borderlands 3. We waited till it came out, and yeah, it sucked having to wait those months, but after like a week, I stopped caring, and then it came out, and most of the bugs were fixed anyway. But she's from Ohio because of the corn. Yes, she's corn horse now. Or else I had to miss this one because of a bunch of stuff. Okay, well, sorry, I'll see you later though. I remember first played those games. Well, Halo was one of my big games. That was the reason I modded my Xbox. I did Halo photography. I brought this up many times, but I never know who's new. I did Halo photography for a while. That's where I learned a lot of cinematography. I learned how to mod an Xbox. It was a soft mod, but it's still a mod. And I did a lot of game photography to where it actually started showing that games are more than just playing stuff. It's more than just sitting down and getting high scores and stuff, or and poning noobs. It is. There's a whole other side of it that is where you can feel productive a lot, where you can feel like you're doing more than just playing a game, and I love that. Honey Nut Cheerios, good choice. They're really good. Actually, I used to eat a lot of Honey Nut Cheerios before because when I was trying to keep low sugar, they surprisingly have low sugar for how sweet they are. Not as much as regular Cheerios, but yeah. We got a stupid face here. Let's see here. What can we do for stupid face? Trying to think of something I haven't done before, but I slowly run or hit a wall. Has SFM ever been updated lately, or is it the same for years? It hasn't been updated for probably 5 or 6 years. Mainly, at least my thought being, what's the point of updating a software that you're replacing? So, SFM has glitches, but otherwise it mostly works. So if they were to put all the time into fixing all the little small things on something that they're eventually going to basically replace, why do that? Put your effort into the new thing. And you can get Source 2 SFM right now. So it's just, it has features that needed to be added and some stuff that needs to be worked out first. So eventually that will be something that will be seeing.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made. Unicorn was the best decision I.
She's got a little something in her eye. I've never done. I just like this. This is some shade right there. What is your boops count at? I don't think I keep a boops count. Do we have a boops? I don't think we've ever kept a boops count. I'm gonna say 7, because that's a nice number. For the price that the Series X is at, it's the equivalent of a high-ass priced gaming PC. Oh, is the Series... Okay, so I haven't really paid attention to that. Is the Series X like a overclocked or like some super beefy Xbox? Where's Mike? It's snowing quite a bit outside right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's delayed in getting home. Or I thought they would have let him out a little early, but he might not have. So I'm guessing traffic's just absolutely horrible. Series X is the next generation of console, has pretty similar spec to a 3000 game PC. Yeah, well, but okay, I need to stop looking at this face. That's consoles though are built to be specialized, so they can have specs much lower than a normal PC and get much better performance out of it. But the problem with that is you're still limited on a lot of your display hardware. If you're normally, for the way I see a console, is the ability to just take it, plug it into whatever I'm using, and just run with it. If you're looking into like refresh rates on the monitor and all this other stuff, then you're actually getting into more an enthusiast type thing where that is a PC gamer type category. Unless that's the console or the console that's meant to bridge the gap. But again, if you have a beefy PC and you care enough, you're probably not going to care about spending extra on a beefy console too, when just run a cable. But again, I don't know much about the console to be able to make a judgment on it. It's only $500. Yeah, well, that's a pretty good deal then. But again, you're limited to the Xbox stuff. You're limited to games. PC you can do a lot more with. I like being able to use the same beefy performance for doing video editing and all that stuff too.
Cool.
Well, thanks, James. I appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Doesn't know the boot count, patent pending. Michael knows the boot count. He just got here. Let's see. How are you? And how is True Mike? True Mike is, well, we have false Mike right here. Hold on. He's in a weird pose. I can do 4K 60 FPS with ray tracing. Yeah, I mean that's neat, but at the same time, like, I always think ray tracing is like I personally feel it's overhyped. I'd rather have higher frame rate, which is usually just turning it off with current performance things. You're just gonna get better performance.
Unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
Hello, you're home. How was the roads?
I will say that the off chance somebody working for the Minnesota Transportation Department is watching your stream, use salt before the snow.
Why?
To keep it from melting before it hits on the road.
But then you just have slush and water, and that's no better.
You'd have it's just water if you put down enough salt.
Yes and no. They salt the crap out of the roads. Eventually, by midwinter, we're gonna have so much salt on the roads that nothing will ever stick to it.
Today they had nothing, and it was a nightmare. I didn't like it. Slipping
No, they don't.
all over the place.
They put down a crap load of salt
Today-
and sand. Well, it depends normally where it is, but I know that I know you probably have a lot more experience and knowledge than the people that run all the studies and run all the numbers and determine all that stuff. That you being
they
on the
see
road,
it and they want to save money on salt. That's what it is.
no, you don't know that. You're just throwing out. You're just angry and you're being stupid.
There's no salt.
Well, you know what? There's a shaker right over there. You can go out there and do it for them. Just like, no, not sprinkling, gotta grind it.
Yours is the grinder one.
You can do it, Michael. You can do it. You can go when people ask what you're doing. You're like, I'm seasoning the ground.
Becoming a unit.
Halfway through, I realized I have a pepper shaker.
Like, this is Himalayan salt.
I've been putting cream and tartar all over it.
That's in there.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I. Unicorn was. Becoming a unicorn was the. Becoming a unicorn.
Okay, still doing a couple little tweaks here on this face.
Unicorn was the. Unicorn
Yeah, I know.
was the.
Salt's expensive.
Well, yeah, but they still dump a ton of it here.
Yeah.
They might have put it down beforehand, but then there was a break in the snow. They might have, there's 100 different factors, and you're just jumping on the one
I
that.
never saw them putting salt down, and at this temperature.
Well, yeah, but you're
that snow's
driving.
melting.
You're driving in rush hour, and you only went in there one direction for the trip.
The other side was moving slow too.
Yeah, but you're not going to see snowplows in the middle of rush hour. There's no point in putting anything on the road when there's stuff with cars.
Well, normally, like bang the thing, they put it on the road before the snow even came down.
Maybe they did.
Well, it's working.
Well, how do you know? I mean,
Crap ton of snow on the roads.
you know what? Hold on. Let's. Okay, here you go. All right, let's see here, Michael. All right, here you go, Michael. Okay, I'm gonna dial it for you. Okay. Okay, you're gonna get a hold of the Minnesota DOT, right? Because if you want to talk some shit, then we're gonna get them on the phone for you.
What am I gonna tell them? Like, why is there snow?
You're gonna be like, you guys are doing great, and yep, you just keep doing what you're doing. Bye. And then as soon as you hang up, you're like, you little fuckers.
Exactly.
Because we're bronies. We can't actually talk crap to their face. We got to do it behind their back. See, you're learning Minnesota nice.
Look, they're not gonna give a shit what I think.
No, they aren't. That's what's great. Again, it's Minnesota nice. They'll be like, okay, we'll take that into account, sir. And as soon as they hang up, they
It's like, and how many
delete the
campaign
call.
contributions did you give this year? 0? Okay, nice. That's nice.
Campaign. They're not even gonna ask to who. Just give money to people. Did you save an orphanage? No. Well, then get off the call. This line's for orphanage rescuers only.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll get black ice in like January or February, which is just, it's so cold that salt doesn't work. It's below the point that salt works, and so like exhaust from cars will freeze on the road, and it'll create a very thin, very hard to see sheet of ice. Otherwise, like, we don't really get normally in the temperatures like in the 25-30 degrees Fahrenheit anyway degrees very often in the winter. We usually sit like 10 to 15 degrees, and because of that, normally we get powdery snow that'll just blow right off. We don't get the wet stuff, and the most time, and then the black ice is only within about a month period. So normally our roads aren't bad. You just have really crappy drivers.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Minnesota is just like, the roads are awful, but they just convince themselves there's like a reasonable amount of loss, and everybody who crashes is just.
Well, that's all. Every law on the street is takes into effect the reasonable amount of allowed accidents. A speed limit is the reasonable amount of death. It's them saying it's okay because this is 6 people dying. If we dropped it by 5, it'd only be 5 people dying, and that one person is worth the speed difference.
Yeah, but they're not worth salt. They're not worth their litter.
You know, I think if you were to just take all the salt you're pouring right now and just went and rolled on the road for a little bit, there'd be no problem. I see Alexander.
Hello, Declan.
Oh yes, hello Declan. It is a Michael. All caps Michael too. That's the way it should be.
It's like midnight for you right now.
Ole indeed.
The best decision I ever made.
I should pull this back a little bit here. Let's see if I can do. Okay, maybe not like that. I'm thinking like this.
I've made.
I did only see
I've
one
made.
person in the ditch
I've
on the drive home. So there's that.
It was pretty good.
Better than last time.
I've made.
I still like one of my favorite like super Minnesota like weather moments was I was driving home and it was just snow everywhere, and just before I pulled into my parents' street, there was a car that had obviously went off in the ditch, didn't go very far because there was so much snow, and just like crashed there, but I could see the person was in it. So I pulled over and I rolled down my window, like it was on the opposite ends of the street, rolled down my window and I'm like, do you need any help? And they just rolled down my window like, nah, don't worry about it, somebody's coming. And he's just putzing on his phone while just sitting in a ditch sideways.
What else can you do?
I know, but it was just so nonchalant of like, hey, do you need any help? Nope, don't worry about it, I got people coming.
Well, one Kentucky thing is I crashed into a ditch one time during an ice storm in Kentucky, and I just got out of my car and started walking, and I walked the rest of the way home. It was about 3 miles, so I walked about 3 miles to get home. To get home the next day, my brother's friend's grandfather had a tractor, and he was pulling me out of the ditch, and that was my help.
Yeah, my brother had it once where, so he drove a Bronco, I believe it was, and they went off the road and it got stuck, and so they called a tow truck, and the tow truck came and pulled them out, but in doing so, it went into the opposite ditch. So then they used the Bronco to pull the tow truck out, and they got a discount because they helped the tow truck out. But it's just funny when you're like, you're having to pull each other out. Have you ever seen the tow trucks for semi-trucks?
Tow truck, yeah, they're big ones.
Oh my god, they're huge,
Yeah.
and they're expensive.
They can
Jeez.
pull the whole semi.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time.
Well, yes.
It wasn't snow, but when I was in high school, our bus had there was like, this is another Kentucky thing, because we were off on some back road in the middle of nowhere, and there was a bridge that flooded.
Unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
So the school bus we were on had to turn around, but it didn't have much room to turn around. This is like a 1.5 lane back road. So it's backing up into the woods essentially to try to turn around. And one of the back tires falls into the ditch, falls into the creek actually, like down into the ditch, into the creek or whatever. So the bus is stuck. So they send a tow truck out. But when we were a bunch of kids, we told to stay put. We're having a good old time. Not having to go to school. And they send a tow truck out. It gets stuck in one, trying to pull the bus out. So they have to send another tow truck out. Pull that tow truck out. Pull out the school bus. We're like 4 hours late. To school.
Yeah, there's like, if you look through information on Minnesota, there's a thing that they say where Minnesota does not get snow days, and it is because you don't. We will get cold days, so we will get days that it is legitimately unsafe to go outside, where it's like negative 30 degrees or something. Thanks for the follow, Bandy. It's just so cold that it's expecting a kid to stand outside, especially where you can't control whether or not they're outside for a minute or 10 or 20 or minutes or more or walking, then it's just not work. They can't do it. So they'll cancel schools. But for snow, no. We one time had it where thankfully our bus stop at one time was my driveway. So like we could just stay inside the whole time. But it had so much snow pop up that our bus was 2 hours late to pick us up. And we weren't even the last stop. We didn't even get to school until 3 hours after it started. They already delayed everything because everybody was coming in late. But the bus was sliding around every corner. It was so dangerous, and they still didn't cancel it for that. And so, yeah, it doesn't matter how much snow there is, we will almost never cancel unless it's just too cold. Because they don't care whether or not that gets in an accident. They care whether or not the kid just gets too cold at the bus stop. Which makes sense.
I'm thinking they're not going to have to deal with that much longer anymore, just because on rough days like that, they're probably just going to do school online from here on out. Seeing kind of already established an infrastructure for it. And a plan. So kids, snow days might not be a thing anymore. Yeah,
well, there's so much stuff that's going to change after this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff for the better. Like we were actually talking, it was I think right before the community guest stream. We were talking, and it kind of came up during the community guest stream for Ciderfest that, like, everybody misses the physical convention stuff, but that there's certain benefits that have been, like, for me, I love the fact that I can do an SFM panel and use my actual normal PC to show everything about SFM. That's actually pretty cool. So you gain some cool benefits to it, and also that people that normally can't go to a convention are able to attend. And there's so many people that are like, I've never been to one, and this was one of the best weekends I've had. That's super awesome. I'm really hoping that some of the lessons that are learned from doing these online conventions, that they can take some of that and bring that to the physical conventions. And instead of using this as a time where it's, this sucks, can't wait to go back to normal, I'm hoping that this helps redefine normal a little bit. Like with at work right now, when we were having limitations on space, and now they're talking like, well, actually, wait, we'll just have some people work from home now, and we have no problems with space anymore. So it's allowing people to redefine normal a little bit and allow some flexibility. Having a parent that's able to work from home if they're able to still be productive from home and pay less for daycare and stuff like that. So, I'm hoping that they can do that, but I'm really hoping conventions can start seeing some of the benefits that the online stuff has had and the ways they can do things differently and translate that into the physical ones too.
I think I just missed going somewhere different. I think is what I missed about not going physically to the conventions.
And Elias, we're doing just a quick short of Applejack getting angry about because she became a unicorn, and then she became a not unicorn. She became a normal. What are these TF2 Pony Sound clips even from? They're from TF2. So I can't remember the year.
Where are these TF2 clips from?
They're from Fortnite.
Yes. Was that the question you just asked?
I didn't even think about it too. So I have to look at this because this will tell me the date. Back in 2013, TF2 had an event that had where I think it was a Halloween event because it was October 30th that I made that, where it was adding like pink unicorn power stuff, and it actually had MLP references, like friendship is freaking magic, so it definitely was a pony reference or an MLP reference. And that was for an event way back then. And I made the Unicorn Friendship Magic video from the day that they released the audio. Like that evening, I was like, I need to use this for something. So it's been around for a long time. And I made sure to grab all that audio when that event happened, just in case. So I've had that audio for years and years. It's just if you want to make something really short, it's just nice to throw together. Maybe they did get mad. I don't care. They can do whatever they want. It was a funny event. And hearing Heavy screaming about being a pretty pink unicorn, I don't care who you are. That's funny.
It all came out right around the same time. Dave was like, yeah, and then pony stuff.
But anybody at any point that said that earlier on, I always take with a grain of salt. Not because was it the fad? Is he saying it because it would get the attention of that group to bring in people for something? I don't believe anybody on that anymore. I don't think he was. I think it was just the funny thing to say. So
I was never a brony.
Nope. I've been going through editing the request stream, and the amount of times I see you in the background, anytime the word derpy comes up, you're like, ah!
It's true, I never liked My Little Pony, just dirt.
I almost had one shot in that when I was editing it that I had like zoomed into your face because like you went like, and you had this like big smile on your face because it was like God derpy. And
It was like, yes.
if I don't finish this video for Friday, I'm actually putting out the highlight for that. I'm almost done with it.
It's like everybody in your chat's just like, what are those? Is that a llama?
Or what?
Nobody's a brony. Your entire chat is a lie.
It is. Bronies never happened. No, the life didn't exist before the pandemic. We were created by COVID, and our existence has been a fabrication of its intellect.
It created us as housing units for its propagation.
It's Matrix.
You know.
You just had to throw in a Matrix reference.
Did I?
Yeah. It created us for batteries, right?
No, they're living in us. We're like hotels.
Hotels?
You know,
Well,
checked in.
well, I didn't sign up for this. I want a refund.
Well, you're like a 1.5 star at best, anyways.
Out of one.
Like, coronavirus, am I not good enough?
You know what?
Just like
You can find a new hotel. It can get the fuck out.
Right.
Unicorn was unicorn.
Trying to just add a little bit of motion here because it's gonna. I was intending to add some secondary motion, but
That guy just gave me an amazing idea. I know they have an entire, the entire convention center from Baltimore in VR. That is a thing that exists. We could have BronyCon again, guys.
definitely not Alpha Rad. Welcome. It's Pony Crap. I'm animating and then just entertaining people at the same time.
Coming a unicorn.
That would be amazing if one day we could just have an entire VR convention in the Baltimore Convention Center.
Unicorn.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to you. What was that again?
I said it would be amazing if we could have an entire VR My Little Pony convention in the Baltimore Convention Center, because I know that map exists in VR. Like the convention center.
I was thinking of it like everybody was still physically at the convention center doing VR. I'm like, that sounds like a very boring, like, it's like when like you're wearing headphones, listening to like rock music, doing something cool, but from the outside all you hear is like click, 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 click.
That would, like, everybody gets together to do VR. That would be...
So that they all can just VR being at home on their computer. Basement, in the basement.
Yes, we'll have to have VR basements.
Did you know that online funny cons existed way before COVID panic? Oh yeah, I know that the online ones existed beforehand. But like from my perspective, like running panels and stuff is a lot of the like preparing for the panels. Like bad fanfic is one of the ones that I spend the most amount of time preparing for, and it takes me about like 8 to 10 hours to get everything ready, because you have to like find new fics, get them fully edited. By edited, I don't just mean like in a readable format, but actually rewriting it to work better in a readable format, removing where it says Celestia says or stuff, changing some of the jokes that would work better when people speak it, adding additional context as vocal bits instead of bit. It's just a lot. It takes a lot of work, and doing such already takes time for the physical conventions. So the online ones are like, why would I do that for an online bit? Because there was not as much of a following for such, and it felt like you weren't getting the feedback. Yet it's a completely different format for doing stuff online compared to not. So now it's bigger because people are putting the effort into it, making it good. Ponyfest, the way that they run things, super smooth. Like looking at it from the back side of things, they did it brilliantly. They know what they're doing, and it's really, really cool.
The more I think about doing a convention in VR chat, the more appealing it becomes.
A unicorn.
Like, how easy would that be to set up?
To what?
To a convention in like VR chat.
That would be hard. Are you saying that Charlie's job is easy?
No. I'm saying doing it in VR chat would be easier than doing like an in-person convention.
No, not really. You'd still have to set it up all physically. You'd have to set up a server so that everybody would be able to connect at that one time. You'd have to have people moderating it, so there'd have to be people watching all of that, and then ensuring that anybody that isn't is taken care of. Setting up events, scheduling, setting up all that stuff. You'd still be doing all that. How is it easier?
It'd just be easier because it's not physical.
Are you sure? Because when somebody loads in as a giant penis,
That's when you ban them.
yeah, you ban them, but it already was shown, which means now you have to basically tell everybody that everything is, or you have no control of what is visible and what isn't. So then you're going to have to be higher control of age verification.
You could lock in what models people are about to use.
Yeah, you could, but then people are going to be like, but I don't want to use that. I want to use this. Bronies want their OC. And so then you do that, what is a sponsorship? No, that sounds really bad because people are going to roleplay badly.
That's the concern. Roleplay.
You know it. They're going to be Can we have a private room?
Everybody would be a fursuiter.
Yeah, they'd be like, can we have a private room to do the adult things? And you're like, okay, and you make the room, and then there's only like 4 people left in the public room.
Everybody's in the horny room. His name is...
A unicorn.
You know, this convention's getting better and better.
You know what that convention's going to be called? It's going to be called Derpy Brew.
Nah, I think that name's already taken.
For a convention?
I don't know, not for a convention.
Unicorn was
It's called the best DerpyCon.
Best of DerpyCon?
Derpy's best worst con.
DerpyCon. So who would is there only like one voice actor that's allowed? It's just Derpy's VA and...
I have to talk to Draft, he can get it going. He never would.
No. Hey, you pay him enough. Is this what you're saving for?
Yes.
DerpyCon? Anyone want Bugger King? Oh, I'm gonna catch up here. Oh, thank you, Jules.
Well, Luna is the best worst.
Appreciate it. That's awesome. Congratulations, Soul Kitty. And they got theirs from Elias. That's awesome. You guys are cool. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm not like chat's already moved so fast. DerpyCon, BestCon.
Mm-hmm.
That would be neat.
A complete con in VR would be pretty awesome.
And a unicorn was...
And you could show all videos and stuff. Like,
The only thing I don't like about doing a VR convention is having to wear a VR headset.
you don't have to. You could do it on a monitor.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not the same experience, but people would have the option. As many people would be able to attend as any.
Becoming a unicorn is the best
You
decision.
just have to install
Unicorn.
VR chat or something. I think you could do it with the Ares mod deck.
Unicorn was the becoming a unicorn was the bestest unicorn.
Gmod. No. Well, no. Any convention like that would have to not require paid software.
Yeah, VR chat's free.
Yeah, but Gary's mod isn't. So Gary's
So that
mod.
would-
So who the hell doesn't have Gary's mod at this point? You can't expect it, but
Yeah.
still. No. VRChat doesn't require VR. Yeah, that would make sense. It's got a stupid face again.
A unicorn was
You know what? Applejack has decided that where is it? There it is. That she is going to not just live Apple. She is going to be Apple. Oh my god. Hold on.
It's horrifying. She's got a barn in her eye.
God, that looks a little painful, but let's get back to normal. Like, no, this isn't normal, but okay. So this needs to technically this is gonna kind of break it. Oh, not really. So we're gonna put this to there,
Oh,
and then
she has become barn. Later, Warhorse.
she's in there. Bye, Warhorse.
She's in there. She's like, no.
becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
Why is that? Ooh, I have to.
The best decision I made.
There we go.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
She became a barn.
That is amazing. She's like,
Becoming
I
a
was born in a
unicorn was
barn,
the best
I was
decision.
raised-
She was born in a barn, and she's still in a barn.
she lived there forever.
See? She's still. There she is.
Like, it's good to know that her
She's
parents,
right there.
Her parents didn't want to pay for hospital.
She's.
Was the best decision I
She got born in the barn. Like a horse.
Go back to hell. There. There we go. Alright, I'm done.
She has become one.
Her main is kind of glitchy there. So the main is attached to the head through a jiggle bone, and the jiggle bone is not considered like a normal bone. So if I go through Applejack's like bone structure here, I cannot actually find the jiggle bone group here. And that's because it's not considered as like a part of this. It's separate for the automation portions. So if I rescale it, and normally the scaling will kind of trigger down the parent structure of the model, but when it gets to a jiggle bone, it doesn't see it. So it doesn't get that same trickle down scaling. In this case, if I make the head 1/10 the size, the main doesn't know that. And so the main will go back to its normal size. If I go and bake the procedure bones, and then it becomes visible, now it is part of the structure and the scaling will work correctly. But until then, yes, it will become very, very glitchy. And I've had issues with mains and stuff where if I want to maintain that automated jiggle bone bits, I have to scale by... I thought you were getting booze.
I wish I had some.
Well, you don't have any? There's Trulies in there. I thought you just drink whiskey.
Yeah, but I'm not.
There's one in the fridge.
Oh, like a little bit that's left?
Yeah.
It's like half a swig.
Yeah. You're an alcoholic. It's something. I already had some of mine. But no, so it will. So yeah, so once you lock it, then I have access to the bone. But if you change it like 10 or 15% bigger, larger, or bigger, smaller, it will still kind of work. But the hair will be like, say, if you shrink the bottle by 10%, the mane will be slightly larger, and vice versa. So you do have to take that into account. But it shouldn't break it. Wi-Fi is dying. I hope I get it fixed. Oh, this sounds complicated. Not really. The only that was the explanation of why. But the main thing you just have to know is if you're scaling something that has jiggle bones, it's not going to take into account until you bake it. I just like knowing why it's doing it, because if I know why, then I know better on how to work around it. So. What? No, I think Draft drank all those. Yeah. I mean, you could check. There might still be one, but I think he drank them all. I made him drink the ones I didn't want.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made. Becoming a unicorn.
It's not half a swig. That's like a full shot. You're drunk, just drinking right from the bottle. Do you want a paper bag for that too?
It would be classy, wouldn't it?
No, not for you.
Unicorn was the best. Becoming a unicorn was the best. Becoming a unicorn was the best decision.
No.
He is an alcoholic. This is the one that you just come over here with like a full glass of like, what do you have mixed in there? Mixed?
Whiskey's good on its own.
No, but when you fill up a glass like this full of whiskey, that's called alcoholic. Get a freaking beer stein, just whiskey.
It would be nice. Right now. That'd be a bit.
Isn't there Sprite in there?
Yeah.
So then you can make a chrysalis.
Yeah. Hey,
Come on, it's Tuesday. It's time to get drunk. Don't you even work tomorrow? Well, there you go.
I do not work tomorrow.
Don't go get drunk.
I gotta wake up to play video games with that guy. You should be asleep.
Becoming a unicorn.
Several hours, so I'm
A unicorn was
Well, until you're like, I'm gonna go rest my eyes.
Well, yesterday I fell asleep at like 7:30, and I woke up at 1, and I was awake for.
I was wondering, you went quiet for a long time yesterday.
Yeah.
becoming a
I
unicorn
was
was the
asleep.
best.
I was awake from 1 to 4 in the morning, and I went back to sleep.
Unicorn was the best. A unicorn.
I drank like less than like, nothing.
You're drunk.
And he's like, drink some water. I'm just like, dude, I
Becoming
drank
a
a shot.
unicorn.
So here so I want to have a little bit of body motion here because she's literally not moving at all here. So when she goes dip down, I was just going to pull the body back, but why animate that when I can steal from it? So I can steal a little bit of this from there, but now I just got to time it.
Nah, I don't really like it.
So that will work. I just have to add a little bit of down with it. Is her legs locked? It is. I don't want the back legs moving though.
I very rarely get like super drunk. And I've never been like blackout.
You've never been? God, I would count all the times that I was, but I was blackout drunk. But this was back like before I was supposed to be drinking like 14 shots in 2 hours and like just becoming overly drunk.
I drank 14 beers in one night.
Unicorn was
back when I was like 22,
unicorn was unicorn.
and I still remember the whole night. I remember being very sick for most of it.
Well, 14 drinks. I'm talking we would drink 14 to 15 shots in 2 hours.
Not do it. I'll get you drunk for sure.
There was still the one time I remember I woke up. So my friend lived in a basement, but he had like a kind of a side room to their basement, but still was no lights. And I remember like just waking up in complete darkness, hungover, thirsty, and having to pee like a racehorse, and I couldn't see anything. And I can hear snoring though, a lot of snoring because there's a lot of people over, and I have no idea where I am. It took me a little bit to comprehend that I was in the basement, but I don't remember where I fell asleep. And it is literally so black that I cannot see anything to figure out where I am. And so, like, literally, I feel like I'm in a void and having to feel around, and I was able to find people. And then I found a wall, but it still told me no information. And like, I'm trying not to murder somebody by stepping on their head because, again, I was so drunk that I probably was still partially drunk. And oh my God.
Bad night.
I don't drink like that anymore.
No, I don't drink nearly as much as I used to when I was
We, I was gonna say you drink still quite a bit.
like, I think the worst night I ever had was something like
Unicorn.
I don't know what it was. That was the complete story.
There's a moment with one of my friends that we were hanging out with at the time. Well, drinking like that is unhealthy. I don't drink like that at all. Like right now I'm having one drink. I'm not gonna have any more than that. I will drink in very moderate amounts and not nearly as often. When I was younger, I was stupid. But there was one of my friends was got very, very drunk, and then this one night, and actually it's a two-parter story. So I wasn't drinking at all that night, but they got very, very drunk, and the one of them got so drunk and he's passed out, and they were playing Madden, and the next morning he's like, dude, what time did I pass out? And they're like 1:32, and he's like, really? And they're like, no, like exactly 1:32. You were running the football in Madden, and you passed out while running the football. He actually ended up throwing up on me, and for that reason I can never drink brandy. But the next morning we ended up going to get Subway, and so we got Subway and whatever, and he ended up drinking, I think it was Code Red, and it did not settle with him. And so as we're leaving the Subway, he ended up throwing up all over the front of the Subway, and then just was like, meh, and then just walks away. And as we're driving away, you see the like manager walk out and look out the door.
God.
I feel back then I would laughed at it. But I feel so bad now.
Yeah, because they got clean that shit.
Yeah, I know. But it was back then. It was hilarious.
I had the worst day of my life after I drank that night. I drank 14 beers. Because here's the whole story. I drank those 14 beers and I was sick the whole night. And I stayed over with my friend because, of course, you don't want to drink and drive. And even I knew that back then. And so I stayed with him that night. But our plan was, before we started drinking, that we were going to go to a amusement park in Ohio called Kings Island. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. It's been around a long time. But anyway, he wakes up the next morning and he's freaking amazing. He's somebody who could drink himself stupid and then wake up the next day and be fine. Essentially. Somebody who can drink the whole night and then just wake up the next morning and not be affected by it at all.
You saying that's me?
I said that's a mute.
Oh, I thought you were saying like you. I'm like, no.
No. This was my friend. So he's like, so we going to Kings Island? And I'm like, I hardly had any sleep. I'm hungover as heck. And I'm like, sure, man. Let's go to Kings Island. So we get in there, and it's just not happening. And I try to just find a nice shaded place because it's hot outside. It's hot. I'm hungover at an amusement park. I get on like one roller coaster, and then I'm just
was the best decision.
after that. And I do the best decision in the shade.
of some building, and anytime I try to just sit down, one of the hard employees comes over and says, "No loiter," and forces me to move. It's so awful.
Which doesn't make any sense in an amusement park, because there's going to be people that get nauseous or whatever, and then telling them to keep moving. It's like, do you want to loitering or puking? Which do you want?
Yeah, it's just like, it wasn't that busy a day. Like, it was just anywhere I went.
Well, that was a paid to get in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so who cares? You paid to get in there. It's
Yeah.
your property now.
Yes, I own the park. I paid my $50.
Was the best decision I ever.
But
The best decision I ever made.
nah, that was
Best
just
decision.
awful. And all I wanted was just to sit, and they wouldn't let me.
Best decision I ever. Best decision. Best decision.
No, I know my limit to where if I drink anymore, I'm going to have problems the next day, and so I know where to
I've
stop on
learned
that.
that myself as I've gotten older. I
Best
didn't know where
decision
that
I
was
ever
when I was
made.
younger.
Decision I ever. Decision I ever.
When I was younger, it was drink and drink and drink and deal with the consequences in the morning.
I did that until I was 21.
Yeah.
Well, and even then, it was only like a year and a half of doing that right after high school. But I have some funny moments from that, but a lot of it I don't want to have on a recording.
I think I only drank once before I was 21, and it was at a bar. They just didn't ID. So yeah, that's on them.
Decision I ever made. I ever made.
I mean, the liquid goes down your throat if you put it in your mouth before you're 21.
Yeah, you have to be 21 to legally drink. Again, stupid kids. I'm not saying that we were right in any way.
Just blame the non-responsible.
Yeah, that's why there's a lot of stuff I'm not talking about, because it's incriminating people.
The people I drank with, who got me the alcohol when I was like 20, I don't even remember much about them. I remember his first name. I was in college at the time, so college days.
I miss college days, though.
I don't. I'm kind of glad they're done. That was a very hectic time. I will say that everything around me was constantly changing. I don't think I was living in the same place for even. I was living in different places for like 6 months at a time, and the school was the only thing that was consistent. So it became kind of my anchor. I do miss that, but the whole experience was pretty rough for me.
Oh, I was dorm.
I wish. I was just hopping from apartment to
Decision I ever made.
home to apartment.
Oh, I have so many things we did in the dorms that were fun. My favorite thing in the dorm life, though, well, two favorite things. One, the entire hall was on the same network, so you could LAN to anybody in any room on the entire hall. And this is back when connecting over the internet wasn't as easy, so you could connect two Xbox Ones. Not Xbox One, but the original Xbox, in two different rooms across the hall, way down the hall from each other, and they could LAN together. That was really fun. So we used to have a lot of LAN games going.
Something you don't see anymore is LAN parties. Like
Well, they still are, but it's just nothing that we.
Yeah.
There's other methods to do it, but LAN still has its places.
It was a bigger deal back then because, again, internet connectivity was.
But the other thing was we created our own little Midnight Society. So if you don't know Midnight Society, it was a super old, scary show in like the 90s or something. Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it was definitely like the kid scare type thing, where it was not scary. It wasn't rated R. It was like a PG-13 horror thing. And and their thing was they would tell stories by campfire as a Midnight Society, and so we made our own, and we would like once a week we would go and meet together in the lounge area. We'd shut off all the lights and we'd set up all the chairs around the TV, and anybody could show up that they'd want to. We'd watch Are You Afraid of the Dark in this like completely dark room and just make fun of it the entire time. All we would do is talk trash to the show, and it was so fun. It was just it's stuff like that I missed, where it's like you had a whole hall of friends that you end up over time you all become friends, all hanging out basically in like in a giant apartment complex where all of everything is shared, and the only place you have is your room. And even then I had to share my room with somebody else, so I missed that. It was really fun. It was a good time.
I did enjoy Are You Afraid of the Dark when I was a kid, and as an adult, I realized it was still a decent show, but it essentially just took adult horror films like It or the original Nutty Professor, where he slowly transforms into a monster, the Eddie Murphy one. But they just took those stories and then they kind of rewrote them for kids, and then you got a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, but yeah, it wasn't. We didn't watch it for the entertainment factor. We watched it for the Mystery Science 3000 type thing. It was for our making fun of it, because that is fun. You get a bunch of people in a room to watch something really, really bad, and where you don't care about talking over the movie, it's a lot of fun. As long as everybody agrees that they can talk over the movie, or at least put subtitles on and people don't care.
Did they not have Nickelodeon when you were a kid, Declan, over in England? Because I think they had a version of Nickelodeon in Australia.
And again, the show itself wasn't that great. It was like Goosebumps or something. It in itself was great, but it was the interaction with the people with that we were in the area with. That's what made it fun. I'm trying to remember some of the other like stupid stuff we used to do, and that made that it was actually being in the dorms that got me into PC gaming. I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for that, because I was a console gamer when I went into the school, and it was there that I got into an MMO, and I had a PC, but it wasn't really that great. So I tried upgrading it, and then I ended up building my own, and it just went from there.
I ever made.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised by that. Are You Afraid of the Dark was a fairly successful show over here. Surprised it didn't make the jump. I think they brought it back for a little while or something. Thought I heard.
I don't know. Could you still make like a crappy kids horror show nowadays? What made it great then was it was either practical effects, very low budget practical effects, or like just screen like covers. Like it was always so poor done, and that's what made it great.
If they tried to do it today, it would all be like crummy CG and probably.
It would probably be low budget CG. Yeah,
which would be. If you're gonna do CG, you either go high end or you don't do it at all.
Well, back then,
they didn't have an option.
New CG was new. Now, when you have like Iron Man and all those like movies that really show what CG can do.
I do kind of miss some shows just in general. They don't use practical effects anymore, and then it doesn't look good. I think one of the best modern day examples was when they remade Star Wars. They not remade it, but they re-released the enhanced editions of the first three films, and it had all that full CG. All the original practical effects were amazing.
Well, the thing is nowadays there's so much stuff that is CG that you don't even see as CG. So, well, you can say, "Oh, I miss practical effects," but most movies are CG now. Half of a movie, even if it looks like a normal recorded movie, a lot of it is CG. It is really, really, really good looking when used in that sense. It's when they completely replace somebody or something, because our brains are wired to really know what a face looks like, and so we can figure out anything wrong with it, but anything not a person, they can do a lot of other crap to get away with it.
Still, the blue alien in the re-release.
Eerie Indiana Saturday.
So bad.
Saturday morning TV. I'm not sure what that one is.
Ever made.
Saturday morning cartoons were like, now I think kids kind of miss that nowadays. Of when we were like, now you can just go on Netflix and watch whatever whenever you want. Used to be that like it was the weekend, you could sleep in, but if you did, you missed Saturday morning cartoons. So you'd still get up at like a pretty decent hour, so you could get up and watch the Saturday morning cartoons every Saturday. And those were great, but that was the only time to see it because there was no on-demand anything.
There was this thing once upon a time, kids who may not know, called the TV Guide, and this was the Bible of how you plan your entertainment day. You opened this thing and you found out what was on when, and then you made plans to be in front of your television when it came on. It's crazy, I know.
Ever made.
It was a book.
Ever made.
I'm trying to think of like old technology that some people in chat probably aren't going to remember because it didn't exist. I mean, there's always like dial-up internet and stuff, but most people understand that. I'm trying to think of like the ones that nobody really thought about, and that we just take for granted. Like,
Well, there's like the old rabbit ear antennas on TVs where you had one kid was designated, at least in my house, to hold the antenna and then do this.
oh
trying to
no,
get
I
a better
never.
signal.
We never had to deal with that. My parents were at least pretty easy early adopters for the television stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
the rabbit ears.
but I'm trying to think of like going to Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm. That was a magical thing.
Oh, I loved going to
It
Blockbuster.
was- especially if they had like, we had a video store that had like video games in it too, so you could rent video games.
Oh yeah, we would get video games all the time. I remember like getting a bunch of the original PlayStation games. We'd go and rent.
Heck, we would go to the library and they would have videos you could watch too. I watched Young Frankenstein for the first time, the Mel Brooks stuff. We checked it out at the library.
Yeah, we did some of the library too. Actually, even just getting stuff from the library now.
Yeah.
Or then was. I mean, people still definitely use it for like internet connection and whatever. But I'm trying to think like, what else did we have that I can't even think about? Like, I remember using floppy disks, like going to school, like the old Macs that were like the big colored back, like they're the standard shape when all the schools own those, but still having your like floppy disks that only had like what 1.44, I think it was. 1.44 megabytes, and you would have all your saved like your papers on there and stuff, and those things like were floppy. They were gonna break, and
Yeah, they because you want to play with the little slider thing. No.
I always played with it.
Yeah, and then you broke it, and they're like, "Uh-oh." Because my homework assignment. But no, I found out that it works without that.
Ever made.
I do
Oh yeah,
remember it, and
all that,
without it.
yeah, because all that floppy thing is to protect the softer disk inside.
Ever made.
You had to be fairly wealthy to afford laser discs. Like laser discs were like the high-end technology that was way more expensive than VHS.
Yeah, but they also didn't last very long. If you got it, it was because you were an early adopter, paid a crapload for something that didn't last that long. They still made them for quite a long time, but they weren't making enough money, and it just never was worth it to buy it and do it.
And it's my understanding that the original ones, they used a type of glue to press them together that eventually ate the discs. So, like, there's very few old ones that are still in one piece.
The technology for Laserdisc was fascinating. It just took too long to come to market. Because I remember reading about it where it was like, it's a record, but with using light instead of, or it's exactly the same as a record, but just so absolutely tiny. And it was just fascinating how we're. But then you couldn't. It was a disc, but you really couldn't touch the disc. So you had it in a big thing, and you put it in, and it would pull it out of the sleeve, and then you'd have to load it back into the sleeve because they didn't want you touching it.
Because it was just like a record, and if you touched it, you could like
Well, in the record, at least you have some ability to touch things, but those were so microscopically tiny, and they had to use a diamond filament tip that you had to go and replace every now and then because it would go bad.
He's pointing out like the ball and the mouses. But I mean,
Oh, ball mice, yes.
No, the thing that kids will never understand, like, oh yeah, there's ball and mice that keeps track of it as a laser. The thing you don't understand is you had to take that ball out from time to time and clean it.
No, you didn't not just the ball. You sometimes had to go in, because the two rollers inside, and they would get gucked up with like hair and stuff, so you'd have to clean those. I remember doing that so many times.
Oh, you had to do it all the time. Mm-hmm. It was like at least a once a week.
And when you had to do it at school, and
it was other people.
Yes,
like,
other people's things.
What was on that ball and what was on it was like dead skin. Is what it was.
Dead skin and hair and dirt and
you had to clean it regularly.
Yeah, because you'd be like, why isn't this running? Because it's so that it'd work with the wheel and then the two rollers on two sides of the wheel ball, so it could detect up and forward and backwards, left and right. And so if one got gucked up, it would start having difficulty moving that one direction. So you'd have to open it up and clean it out. And then as soon as you did, you'd be like, whoa, look at this performance increase. Now I can play my Oregon Trail. It was a good game.
Oregon Trail 2. I remember Oregon Trail 2. I got it on an old PC. It came in like a wood
best decision I ever made. Best decision I ever made.
It was a video game.
I ever made.
Michael's laugh is great. Yes. He's like a little child. You know, your normal laughter is a child laughter. You faking a child laughter is like going 3 levels further down. No, stop it. You hurt. 8-track tapes were... I never had to deal with 8-track tapes. My dad did. He actually still has some. They're pretty neat too.
Grandparents have one. The issue with 8-tracks is you can't rewind or fast forward them. You have to basically listen to them where they're at, and then if you want to get back around, you have to play the whole thing.
Decision I ever made.
Bit of a downside.
Because they were definitely straight.
I ever made.
Well, plus they were coiled springs, so if they would go bad for, faster than like a cassette, and they couldn't hold near as much.
Yeah, because they only recorded to one side of the tape, not both sides like cassettes did. Also, like manually defragging computers. I remember defragging a computer back in like the Windows 95, Windows 3.1 days was a long event. It was something you would start and then you would disappear for like 5 hours because it would take it a long time to defrag build defrags.
Most computers now don't even need defrag.
They do it as they go.
Well, no, only disk drives need defrag. SSDs don't.
Yeah.
It's all you're going to do is you're going to lower the life of your SSD and have zero benefit because it means nothing to defrag it. Yeah. But for a physical drive, yes, very much so.
Yeah, but they tend to do it as they go now, even with the physical drives. The newer stuff.
Well, no, not just that. It's all scheduled and it runs in the background. You can shut it off. And it will still tell you, like if you go into one of the managers, it will tell you if it's an SSD, it'll be like not needed. But if it says a hard drive, it'll say like when it was last run. But management and all that is definitely. Oh, she looks a little bit interesting there. You have to leave. All right, see you later, Elias. Thanks for coming. Before DVDs, having to rewind tapes before you could watch a movie.
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah, that's a term that's probably never going to be used again.
Yeah.
VHSs were always great.
They were so easy to record too. That was the thing.
They were versatile, but
decision I ever
there was like a gap in history where DVDs became the standard, but people really didn't have a way to like record TV. And even recording TV is kind of not really
Becoming
much
a
of a thing
unicorn
anymore
was-
because everything's on demand now.
Becoming
But there was a time where you would check that TV guide, open it up, find out when a show was on, and set your VCR to record it on the tape.
Becoming a
And if you were
was the
like
best decision
super
I ever
cool,
made.
the coolest person on earth, you would sit there, watch it, and press the stop and start record buttons to cut out all the commercials.
my dad still does that.
Does he?
Not with VHS. He does it with the on-demand.
Yeah. So I once sat down and watched a very good mini-series called The
best
10th
decision
Kingdom,
I ever made.
10th Kingdom's great.
where they were having a marathon of the entire thing, and I sat through the entire thing and stopped and recorded it all to VHS.
I think. Do I still have it?
It was a 10-hour long event. So
Oh, I used to. I think I got rid of it, but I used to have it on here.
The 10th Kingdom.
Yeah, I had a DVD rip.
Oof, that's good stuff.
And now these the only 3 I still have rips of. Though I own Spaceballs, I just also have a rip
I have
of it.
a copy of Spaceballs upstairs.
I bought it twice. I bought it, lost it, and then I bought it again, and I have a rip of it. But these are the only 3 like I actually would ever care to keep. Though I do want to physically buy them because then
I've never seen Speed Racer.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, you said that.
It's so good. It's the because I'm not gonna actually play it, but like just the visuals in it were so good because it still looked cheesy, but in the right kind of cheesy, so that it looked like the original. Wow, this is, now that I think about this, I need to get a good copy because this just looks really crap now. I downloaded this like 15 years ago.
Oh,
or no,
yeah, it's probably super low.
no, this is 2009, so this was 11 years ago. And I downloaded long after that, but it's a good movie. Yeah, it is amazingly filmed. It, as long as you know what the original looked like and what they were trying to accomplish, I think they took an anime to a live action, or not just an anime, but that anime to live action perfectly. And the cinematography is, especially in the ending scene, was so brilliantly done with how the audio mixed in. I loved it. I absolutely, it's an inspiring movie to me. So I've recommended it to many people that are looking at like learning cinematography or learning animation or anything. I'm like, watch this. It's good.
I do remember, like, with the VHS.
And there's John Goodman in it.
Ooh, I like John Goodman.
Yeah, did they?
I do remember if you had 2 shows coming on at the same time, you'd have to dedicate another
Yeah.
TV. Oh, there he is. Yeah,
He's got a mustache.
he does. You'd have to dedicate like one TV to record it
Unicorn
while
was
the
the
other
best
TV
decision
while you watch the show.
Unicorn was the
That's something you don't do anymore. I think that's been the biggest thing that's changed since I was a kid. Is just entertainment.
decision I ever
Entertainment's definitely
made.
changed. Oh. This is that horn guy I'm coughing on.
Ah, piss.
Why is her eyes?
Ah, piss. Ah, piss.
Oh, the eyes are going with the speech. Probably should figure out the lip sync for this. Is the audio still running okay? Like, is her voice okay or is it stuttery?
Ah, piss.
Do they still
The
make
best
silly
decision
songs?
I ever made.
I don't think I've seen it.
I ever made.
Audio's fine? Okay, that's good. I'm hoping I accidentally resolved it, which is my favorite type of resolving because it means I have no idea what I did.
Cute face. I like that face. Like, she got that face.
This is like when you said no apples.
She's like, no.
Made.
I did realize the camera needs to be. Oh, that actually went to almost what I wanted.
Oh, is your audio actually working?
Apparently.
That's good.
It's because when I went to do the Ciderfest convention, they had so many settings that I had to change. Like normally I stream at 48,000 kilohertz audio. There they wanted 44,100. Normally I stream at 60. They needed 30. Normally I stream at like 4,500 bitrate. They said 5,200. So it was like this whole, like I had to change everything and log out and like change everything. And I'm hoping that it might have been that like one of the settings that I changed for the audio didn't really change it everywhere, but by changing it back and again, like back and forth, it might have. I don't know. Who knows? Oh, Michael voice impression. Can Michael do an impression of a Minnesotan doing their best with the road work?
Like salting the roads?
No, you interpret it how you want.
Alright.
Oh yeah, don't you know? We're gonna not put the salt on the roads because it's just it's too much. It's a lot of money, and we accept a reasonable loss. So here, it's sprinkle, sprinkle. We're done. I don't know what that voice was.
What's the deal with airlines?
Yes, my voice. It started in Minnesotan, and then just became Jerry Seinfeld. Well, what's the deal with the lack of salt on the roads?
You insult my people.
What's the deal with casserole?
It sounded so much like Jerry Seinfeld. Like, why don't you just tell us your review of B movie?
It's the movie to be.
Best decision I ever made.
Just saying Applejack is not a unicorn. Yeah, I know. That's why she's...
That's why she pops up.
It's the joke. No, I thought it'd be funny because it says becoming a unicorn. So like, well, who could become a unicorn? So I had to take somebody that wasn't. But if I took a Pegasus, then technically be an alicorn. You'd have people complain. So it has to be an earth pony. And therefore, I'm only really being able to choose between Pinky and Applejack. If I'm doing the main group, Applejack made more sense because
Best decision I ever made.
it's Applejack and it'd be funny.
She's
So
better pony anyway. Than Pinky.
Ah, piss.
Said it. I'm starting fights.
but why do you have to add? There, I said it.
Because
Like it's controversial, but
I'm
it's
making a controversial statement.
the only thing that's controversial in the fandom is anytime you say anything about one being better than another in any context.
Right.
You'd be like, you know what? That pony is better than that pony, and you're gonna have people angry about it.
Yes. It's so much fun.
It doesn't matter who it is. You can be like, no, they're all the same, and they'd be like, Flim and Flam are best pony, and somebody's gonna be like,
I know one person who thinks that.
I know,
They're crazy.
I know they are crazy. That's why I said it.
Madness.
She just Pinky Applejack is a second pony. Oh, thanks for the follow, isn't it? No, I chose her because I just, for the voice and everything, I felt like it just worked better. Background Pony 62 is better than Background Pony 25. Well, plus everybody has a different interpretation of who that character is. If somebody says that some background character that has very little airtime is better than something else, it's either because something about the coloration or the design they just really like, or there's some fic that they read, or a story idea that they have, including that character, that they promotes them in their mind.
Sometimes.
Oh, another voice impression.
Oh no.
AJ imitating Pinky, imitating Fluttershy, saying anything you want. Or if you're really confused, AJ imitating Pinky.
AJ imitating Pinky. Oh yeehaw! Take cake ha! Ski oh yeehaw! I'm sorry. That's the Fluttershy part.
You ended it with Canadian.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what it is. It's yeah.
Because of the laughter.
Thank you for the context. That's it. I have to murder Michael now.
That's fair.
Hey, you did get some props. You got amazing, ah ha ha ha, worth it. I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, masochist or something.
Ah, piss.
I like the idea of yeehaw. He looks so slated.
Okay, now I gotta make Applejack say piss. You're gonna say piss. and you're going to like it. You're gonna say the word.
It's rude.
It's like you're going to say it. And she's like,
I
no,
don't want to be rude.
No.
She a good horse.
no, I no say. I'm gonna say it, and you're gonna like it because I have control of your universe.
Wow.
And then she's like,
This is how he spends his free time. It's
I make the ponies cry, and it's fun.
the ponies cry. It looks exactly like the old Animaniacs. So
Well, you can tell the difference, but it looks good. If you're talking, I didn't even read that though. The new Animaniacs looks good. Has it even started yet?
I don't know, but I don't think I've seen every episode of the original Animaniacs. So I've seen a lot of it.
Me neither, but it's still, it looks relevant.
Well, they brought all the cast back, like the original creators and everything are back doing it. It's, They even said it's not a reboot. It's the next season is how they're presenting it. They're like saying, yeah, we just stopped making the show for 15 years, probably longer. And then they're like, oh yeah, this isn't season 1 of the new show. This is like season 10 of the old shows, how they're basically presenting it. Which is cool.
Yeah, if they bring all the same people back, well, the problem is comedy changes over time. So, and what is funny is, so you can bring the same people back, but now they are still going to have the mindset of before. So as long as they can still stay relevant, but as far as I can tell, at least from the ads, it looked pretty relevant.
Oh, they like the opening.
Hi everyone, just up, driver. We're going to say hi before hopping on PS4. Well, what you going to play on PS4?
Play some of that Frogger.
Okay, Grandpa. I'm gonna play some video games. They got some that Atari.
I used to be pretty good at that there Space Invaders.
Just wait until like we're older and be like, I remember playing Overwatch. I used to main. The one with the Big Mac, and she'd go boom, 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 boom.
I remember that one too.
Yeah, Diva, that was her name. Oh, she was a hottie. Did you see that? Look
I
at
would
that.
say she was a diva.
Oh, that was a meme.
Yes. Peanut butter jelly time, kids.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly. Oh my hip. Too much dancing.
I kind of want to see millennial boomers now.
Millennium. So there's some horrible.
I didn't
amalgamation.
really realize what that was gonna sound like until I said it. GTA 5 Live, my YouTube channel. Well, good luck with that. I hope you murder all the noobs. Nice.
Millennial boomers.
Oh, the wacko going to the potty. I remember that one.
Who's imagining this person who just hates themselves so much? For various uncertain reasons. I feel like I'm already too old. I'm getting older. I hope I'm not completely out of touch with whatever's going on 50 years from now.
I already can feel it now. Because
I don't meme. I've never.
well, no, it's like with my niece now. She'll I'm at least able to understand more things than like probably my parents can in terms of the meme culture stuff. But she'll talk about some things that are like big with them, and I have no clue. And it's like I'm a little out of touch on some of that stuff, but we know the memes that the millennials are still following, and that's a different group of memes in comedy than that group is following. They're like the TikTok and And there was like one YouTube channel I found that like it was funny with that group, and like I found it super annoying. Like I couldn't. I'm like, you find this entertaining, and you have 2 million. What? It was.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. It's like
Millennium.
back in my day, we knew comedy.
What's that good?
Random law.
No, I want to see what the millennial boomers look like. I think it would be so funny. Or like when like they're all like jacking their brains into like the system when they're like, I'm gonna go play Xbox. Have you ever heard of Xbox? You used to have to plug in the video.
I know when I'm an old man, I'm still gonna be talking about like 90s Sierra Adventure games like I do now. Like,
Yeah, but you talk about you're already old fogey with that. And the problem is every time you mention the word Sierra, you start going into that exact mode where all you want to do is tell everybody about Tim Curry and like all these games, and it is literally like putting in a cassette tape and hitting play. It's like, we've heard of this, Michael.
yes,
No more.
Why haven't you all played it then? You need to play them. They're amazing.
Don't ask him about it.
Saying the same thing she says in this animation. I can't hear what she's saying.
She says,
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
Derpy is the worst pony.
I don't believe you.
Piss.
She's piss.
She's pissed.
No, it says, becoming unicorn is the best decision I ever made. You can make your Applejack impression.
Yeehaw, apples! I'm becoming a unicorn. Apples, best decision. Apples I ever made. Yeehaw, yeah, piss. Yeehaw.
I give you the mic, and then you're like, I must eat the mic.
You're supposed to get Leah into the mic.
Well, no, you're supposed to stay hand distance away.
Yeehaw.
It's not if it's a dynamic mic, yes, eat the mic. Dynamic, you want to eat. These ones, you got to be careful. That is perfect. Okay.
I did it.
This is why just don't request him doing Applejack, because all he's gonna go is yeehaw, yep, apples.
So I gotta install DOSBox on your computer when I get there, huh? Okay. You can get it to run on Windows 10. You just have to install DOSBox. I will show you the way. We can play all the 90s here.
Piss.
Yeah, my thing lately has been I love pixel art games because that was and I don't care if they're newer or older. I just love pixel art type games because that is literally my childhood, was pixel art type stuff. Like the old JRPGs like Final Fantasy like 4 and 6 and Chrono Trigger. What was some of the there was so many that I remember playing. That was my generation, so I still love going back to pixel art type games. I've been playing Legend of Keepers right now, which it's a early access game, like a dungeon builder type thing, dungeon manager, and it's all pixel art, and I love it because it's pixel art.
Well, if you love pixel art games, let me tell you about some Sierra classics.
Okay, we're gonna replace Michael.
No.
So you're gonna have to move. Chicken's getting taken over. No, don't molest the chicken. Michael has upgraded. Yes, replace Michael.
Let me tell you about Gabriel Knight.
But what?
Gabriel Knight. It's amazing.
Bad chicken. Chicken is. You know what? We need to. I'm gonna call draft. We need a new Michael.
Gonna get replacing Michael. This is gonna be a dude who just pulled off the street, just wearing my shirt. He's gonna be like, yeah, ponies, am I right?
Like, I'm gonna need you to. Yeah, I'm gonna pay you like $20 a night, and I just need you to stand there and go, "Derpy sucks."
Wow.
Piss.
Well, isn't that that's all you? That's you.
Might raise suspicions saying negative things about her.
Piss.
this flexed. Oh.
Mike news. This Mike news.
Michael 2.0, just get a picture of Michael and tape that to a random person's face. It's called deepfake. Nobody would tell the difference. Thanks, Michael. Will be unbearable tomorrow. Well, you're welcome. Stupid face. What we got here?
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made. Ah, piss.
It always works.
This is Applejack apparently summoning the demons.
Becoming a unicorn.
Oh, jeez.
Hold on.
Best decision I ever made. Corn was the best decision I ever made.
Yes. Corn was the best decision I ever made.
Corn was the best decision I ever made.
She is forgone apples. It's only corn now. Just corn.
She's getting lucrative ethanol marketing. Oh, jeez.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made. Ah, piss.
Where's the apple?
This is not. Oh.
This not apple. Not apple.
It was apple pear hybrids.
This is like you're in the middle of you're like the first date, and you have horrible gas, but you have not let any of it out yet.
You're just on the verge of exploding.
And you're just the whole time you're just like kind of freaking out, and she's like, so tell me a little about you, and like, like, so what's something you like doing?
Being alone for like 2 minutes, just in that corner over there.
Not eating a pound of beans.
Yes. Oh, that's so true too. It's like there's like a first date. You just really have to fart.
And then as soon as it comes,
just casually walk away. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna be over here for no reason. Like, be on this side of the room. Just hang out on that.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
we'll fix her now. She found out moonshine is better than apple cider. You can make moonshine out of apple cider.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made. Ah, piss. Ah.
Did they make like a?
It's kind of what Kyle does.
Oh, he just mixes like.
But it is absolutely, Everclear is pure alcohol.
Yeah, that's what Everclear is like. I think it's
The closest to moonshine you're gonna get.
Everclear is just a bad.
Well, not just Everclear. That Everclear.
Yeah.
There's multiple Everclears. He gets the 180 proof one.
Watch Jay take a swig of that one time with there and he ready to deal.
Well, Kyle one time brought over. We made crystals, and he put on the top of it a thin layer of the Everclear, because then you could light it on fire. Because you're gonna be able to light that stuff, and so he'd light it on fire, and then you would take a shot right after blowing it out. We're not stupid.
Yeah.
But the problem was, it is still 90% alcohol at the top. So as soon as it hits your lips, it felt like it was on fire. It burned. There's no flavor to it. It's just pain.
It's just alcohol. It's just a bad idea to go Everclear. I think the entire market for that alcohol is just who wants to make a bad decision?
Well, no, you mix it with stuff. If you want to, where everything else has control of the flavor, and that is only where the alcohol comes from. That's why he does it. So, but then he also boiled it down too. So, as labor as a moonshiner, he still exploded and burned down his shed. Yeah, that's where like our friend would make apple pie. So it's super high concentrated Everclear, and he would have to put it in with some other things and boil it down. So you're boiling super high alcohol content stuff, which is kind of dangerous because all it does is fill the air with alcoholic fumes, so that are properly combustible too. So yeah, it's
the
dangerous.
Equivalent of boiling gasoline is essentially what it's doing.
Yeah. So that's like if you're trying to make napalm, which is boiling gasoline.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, don't do that. It's like playing Russian roulette, and nobody's gonna do that. You're eventually going to pull the trigger on a bullet when doing that crap.
It's gonna be that spark off the oven or something. When you go to like the light, that's what would happen too, especially if you have a gaslit oven.
Oh yeah, if you're electric top, at least you're in a better position. But if you have any type of actual flame going, no, bad.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up.
Peace.
Bad.
Peace. Peace. Peace.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever drank anything that was more than like an 80 proof. No, I think I drank something that was 120 volts. I just don't remember what it was.
Like other than Everclear, I think the highest I've went is probably 50 or 60 maybe. There was a couple tequilas that I've had that were super high alcohol content, like why are you putting this in my mouth?
I've had some 70 or 80%.
Yeah.
Or proof. Okay.
No, that's just whiskey. Otherwise,
Yeah,
that's
70
proof.
is like whiskey. So if I've drank 120, I'd say it's like 60%, which is still pretty.
Well, that's where you can at least still have some kind of flavor in there.
I don't think I've enjoyed it.
Hot tips: do not set your leg on fire. Huh. Well, what about your arm?
It's a quick way to get rid of body hair.
Like you said, the friends that would do the stupid thing of light your sock on fire. So you'd light up the end, but it would burn off all the little fuzzy bits all around the edge. So you'd see this little like line of flame go all the way around your foot. But if you don't do it right, you could just literally light your sock on fire. You have to do it just right.
Right. The right amount of fuzzy. I burned all my arm hair. That was thanks to the story.
My brother burned all the hair off one side of his body.
Yeah.
That was an aerosol story. Where some friends they used to have a cabin up in the North Dakota, and not a cabin. He lived up there going to University of North Dakota, and they had a house, and so but they had whole bunch of acres in the back, and they were doing a bonfire to get rid of some of the trash. And somebody had thrown into the trash a cans grouping of aerosol cans, and he didn't know. And so they were just boiling away in there. And the problem is they're compressed. So eventually the cans exploded, and he wasn't that far away from it, and the whole thing just blew. And my mom, I guess, was farther away in the house, and everything shook from the explosion, and it knocked him off the ground like 10 feet, he said, and he scorched all the hair off one side of his body, and he had like nasty sunburn equivalent for a while. And so then it was a drought time, so he's running around trying to put out any of the fire bits that are flying, well in pain, and the dog is nipping at his feet thinking it's playtime. So it's pretty funny. Well, it's funny now.
I tell my story, but I think I've already told the story of when I cook a turkey on top of a trash can lid.
Yours just have depressing stories.
It's not depressing. It was amazing. I made an amazing turkey.
And how close were you to dying?
Not that close. I lost hair on my arm.
I wasn't that close to dying for dinner.
It was fun.
I don't
had
get.
fun.
You shouldn't when making dinner. You shouldn't have to have an equivalent number or percentage for how could I have died.
If I'm the kind of person where if I come close to death and walk away with it untouched, except for maybe some missing hair,
well, because
I'm gonna laugh.
Because you're either gonna laugh or you're never gonna laugh again.
Yes.
So yes, it's always turned out great so far.
So basically, that moment, I do remember burning all the hair off my arm, and then just walking away and smelling the burnt hair and just being like, that was dumb. Oh.
Peace.
Yeah, to sum up that story real quick, I just really wanted to deep fry turkey, but I didn't have a deep fryer, so I built a wood fire and a smashed trash can lid and a big old pot filled with peanut oil, and I cooked the turkey.
This stream in no way advocates the use of Michael's horrible strategies for doing anything in life.
Hey, I cooked it. It was good.
Yeah, you cooked it and you.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Oh God, not the turkey trash story.
Yes, you know this story.
Just remove the word turkey, and that describes all of his stories.
Oh, you called me turkey.
No, I said remove the word turkey.
Oh, all my trash. Turkey. It can be either war then. If it's like post 1950s, a turkey, you're a turkey. It's very insulting.
You're Jay.
She's a turkey.
That was actually really, really funny during Cider Fest. So for the Cider Fest, there's the community guest meet thing, and I didn't realize that my Skype had my full name on it. And so when I went to connect, it was broadcasting and showing my full name. And I don't know if it does it for the stream live that it does, but at least within the Skype call for all the other community guests, it was showing my full name. And so Pirate Dash was moderating, and he called me Jay Holler. And I'm like, because he says it, and I'm like, okay, like, he's not here. And then he's like, oh. He goes, oh no, that's not you. And I'm like, he goes, you both look the same. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you insulted me, sir. It was funny. We've been mistaken many times before. I wish I still had the picture. I thought I downloaded it, but it took me forever to find it, where it was me and Jay Holler were both wearing Columbia jackets. Because we both own Columbia jackets, both zipped up high, both wearing our glasses, both with stocking caps and gloves on, and you couldn't tell which of us was which. I mean, obviously the only thing you could really see was like kind of the eyes, but it was just a joke, and it worked pretty good.
I think I just remember one time, and I think it was just a clip where somebody basically pointed in your direction because some fan was asking who was Andre Damon, and they pointed in your direction and they came to me first. I don't think I did anything with them, but I did look in your direction to basically see if I could get any cues as to whether or not I mess with the person. But then you just said that you were them. We were Argo. So I didn't need to mess with the person. I was sad.
We've done it before where Jay will take my badge and I'll take his for a while, and we'll just walk around and see if people get confused. One of my favorites was it was Everfree in Northwest, and what was his? What names did you go by? It's the selfie pony, and this was, I think, the first convention where he really started doing his thing, and he was trying to get a certain amount of selfies with all the community guests and just people in general, but he was making sure to get all the community guests. And we had this weird moment where we were just walking out of a stairwell, and he comes around the corner, and it was like a video game, to where before I even saw him come around the corner, he already had eye contact with me, full smile and non-breaking, like an NPC that had already detected me from before being visible. And so he just comes around the corner, and he's just like, and it was so creepy, and he's just like, Jay Holler, and I'm like, and I tried to like tell him no, but he's way too much energy, and he just kept going, and it was so freaky. Eventually I was like, no, it's not, and then Jay was behind me, so he ended up getting the selfie he was needing anyway. But it was just, I still have that burned into my brain of somebody in full eye contact before I even could see them. It was so creepy.
I've only heard one story with somebody cornered. Like, and I only heard parts of it.
It happens. It's a part of the deal.
Peace.
Part of the horse deal.
Peace.
Her front legs.
Peace.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
She looks like she has a tummy.
It doesn't matter. I haven't cared what this does.
Peace. 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 Peace.
So I don't want her to blink.
Peace. Peace.
Spider-Man meme, the two Spider-Mans fighting each other. Kind of, yeah. Gonna need an on-screen disclaimer for when Michael is present. Yes. Nothing said in this stream reflects the opinion of the stream owner. It's all Michael.
Peace.
Take my advice, everyone. On the game. If you're ever having a heart attack, eat a Subway sandwich. It'll make you feel better.
Peace.
That's how you deal with that.
Peace.
My advice. All based on things I've done.
Michael is a registered asshole.
It's true.
He tells you fake medical advice.
It takes 7 years of college to become a professional. So you have to go to school.
He worked for that degree. Cover a lot of ground today. The thing Michael isn't supposed to know. Salty about the lack of salt. I like that. Many stupid face impressions. Coffee everywhere, I tell you. Yes. Coffee is coffee everywhere. Good stream. Even though you didn't see a moment of it, he's like, oh, yeah, you've been audio only.
You didn't see the cute horses. Look at that cutie.
Peace.
So you just keep getting the miss of op piss.
Peace. Peace. Peace.
I got Jedi.
Actually, this needs a little bit of teeth.
Peace. Peace.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do here too. So this part right here, I needed to have the jaw.
See, ooh. Howdy, 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 howdy. Yeehaw and apples.
That's racist.
I could totally write the script for Applejack.
Ah, piss.
I'm so good. She'd be like, yeehaw, parents, my parents are dead. Yeehaw. That would be for lines. In every episode, it'll just, everybody would be like, so today,
Yes.
girls, what are we gonna do? And she'll just be like, my parents are dead. Yeehaw.
I can't do nothing. My parents are dead.
Just every conversation.
Yes, that sounds exactly what Hasbro would want for a kids show. So what are we gonna do today?
About it.
Oh well, Applejack's gonna talk about her dead parents. This is season 4, and she's done that every episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's keep it going.
Yeah. It's like the I killed Kenny of My Little Pony. Or you killed Kenny. Someone killed Kenny. Somebody else had killed Applejack's parents. Presumably.
It's a fire, right?
That's my headcanon.
No, you don't present it like a headcanon. You present it like this is the truth, and you just have denied it until now.
Yes. Well, yes, of course. My headcanon is the only canon.
Piss. Piss. Piss.
She wanted all the apples for herself, so she took them out.
Piss.
She's like, more apples.
There, I will allow it. I don't know why it does not like your use of ho. And I think I had that last time, didn't I? Because I think you said that once before.
Hi-ho.
Yeah, it doesn't like Kermit the Frog quotes.
Kermit the Frog is banned on,
I'm not referring to prostitutes. That doesn't sound like a phrase you should ever
Just
need to
imagine
use.
that.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
Hi-ho. Oh, no.
Decision I ever made.
Hi-ho.
Like, hi ho, and she's like, hi Kermit, you ready for tonight? He's like, hi ho, I have $12. I can count. Today's number is 12. Oh. Would you like to go back to the hotel? Oh. we made a pun. Oh. Come on, Big Bird. I get seconds.
Yes. Decent Big Bird impression.
Huh?
That was pretty decent Big Bird.
Welcome, Kermit.
Ribbit. Derbies, yay! Thank you for providing derbies.
That's what we're just gonna do. We're gonna do a stream where all we do is talk as Sesame Street characters. Like one hole. Ha ha ha.
I ever made. Decision I ever made.
You had your own look of like disappointment after that one. Like,
Kermit there was an it is old, it's probably over a decade old, but there was an audio bit where they had Big Bird and Kermit that were high, and they were trying to do the show, and so the whole audio in the background was like slowed down and warped, but it was with Big Bird with at one point just says like hi Kermit, and he goes, you called me Kermit. Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. And it was so bad. But one of my favorites is like, today's letter is 4. It's like, 4 is not a letter, Kermit. Like, oh yeah, it's not. Today's letter is joint. Joint. And like, it was so bad, but it was so funny. Elmo actually came on and was talking normally. He's like, no, show must go on. Show must go on.
just behind the back.
Decision I ever made. Decision I ever made. Becoming a unicorn.
It's all that is probably well over a decade old.
Unicorn was the corn was the best. Corn was the unicorn was the best. Unicorn was the corn.
Oh, this is the end of Corn. Corn wouldn't look like that, so I need to.
He's really into that band. I'm surprised anybody still remembers that.
The unicorn was the
Corn?
Yeah.
unicorn was the
Have they
best.
fallen into complete obscurity?
They had an MMO not long ago that did a live concert with Corn in 3D animated, and it pulled in a lot of people. Where you could actually show up to the room and you'd fight monsters to their music while they were playing it live, and they were fully animated on stage. It was kind of cool. No, Korn was like my high school years. That was the band of my high school. Well, Korn, System of a Down. No, Metallica wasn't as big then. That was still before then. Disturbed.
Incubus.
Incubus was probably in the early bits of it, but yeah, Incubus was. Sum 41.
Matchbox 21.
Matchbox 20.
20, yeah. Something like that.
Matchbox. Yeah, Matchbox 20 was one. Oh god.
Oh, what was that?
You know what? Like
It was everywhere.
some of the.
Christian band.
I can tell you right here some of the music. I don't think all of it's. Oh no, some of it is there. I like Amberland. Alter Bridge was later. Goo Goo Dolls, Killswitch Engage. They're still around, but they have the original singer back now.
I like that band called Pony.
I don't remember when I downloaded that. A lot of those are probably like showing years that are long ago. Goo Goo Dolls, Starset's still good. Something Corporate I really like too. Thrice. Starset's actually a newer band. They're metalcore, but they're
My Chemical Romance.
oh god yes they can't they start. I thought they went back together again.
They might be.
Trust Company was one of my favorite bands, but they don't exist anymore. American Pearl. I think the only reason I have these was I think that they were in one of the Dragon Ball movies.
Were they?
Yeah. It was in a full music, like American music thing, but it was in there. Figure One was actually, I used to play Gears of War with a guy that started a band in California, and they would tour around. And so in California, they were not big, but they were actually good, and they actually have really good music. I don't think they exist anymore, but they were doing that for a while, and they were getting big.
I remember that Creed was everywhere. Creed was
What do you think this is?
that like
When Scott Stapp, I think it was his name, he left Creed, the rest of the band went to make Alter Bridge. So while he like tried to do a solo thing, I think from what I thought, it was he thought he was the band, so he went to go do his own thing. Did not work out, and the rest of the band went to grabbed a new singer, became Alter Bridge, and their music is amazing.
kind of reminds me of Guns N' Roses.
If you listen to it, Alter Bridge sounds just like Creed.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole band is there. It sounds all like Creed, but I like the singer a lot.
Yeah.
He's very, very good. I'll have really good bands you're reminding me of. Well, these are all like the early 2000s, and I mean, this isn't even all of it. Oldies? What is my oldies folder?
Oh.
Now I should be moving all my other music into this folder. Look how long it's taking to load.
All of your
Because I have never. It's probably confused.
Beatles, Bee Gees,
Beatles. B-52. Wow, I got more of that. Okay, Tom Petty's amazing though.
Tom Petty was still pretty big in the 90s.
Tom Petty was good. I love Tom Petty. What's an other? I don't know what I'm opening up right now, so
I'm gonna find out you were Adam Sandler.
Digimon.
Dude, these are from the movie.
Okay.
Runaround is really, really good. It used to be a song I would play for exercising because it was super, super fast paced. I really like that one.
Justin Timberlake.
Greenleaf Yada. That was a joke for a while. I don't remember some of these. I might have to just play through some of these just so I can remember why. And some of these were downloaded like this. I think it's for a video purpose. It was for a purpose. And then I have like all the like a lot of these are the Final Fantasy piano themes. Black Mages is Nobu Uematsu's band that he made later. Gran Turismo, the Gran Turismo theme. Was that in there? Yes, dude. Gran Turismo 2 theme was amazing. It was I can remember it now. It was a great song. If you've never heard it, I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah. Tool Wrench is letting you know who did stupid things.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, we got caught up in music. New thing, the sleep thing. Well, yeah, I guess it is like 8 o'clock right you.
Oh yeah. Night, Declan. See you in the morning.
Stupid face. Oh, that's the wrong thing.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever
She
made.
eat more apples.
She needs to eat some meat.
Anything. She needs to eat something. No. She's trying to become a
Becoming a
supermodel.
unicorn
It's so sad.
was the
The wobbles. No. Too many apples. You don't want to become a shape like an apple.
best decision I ever made.
Best decision I ever made.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
Look at that chunk.
It's like she properly expanded in all the like the right places too, just to make her
Oh my god, no, Applejack, no. You did this to her.
Applejack.
That was all you. Alright, we're out of time anyway, so I got most of it done here.
Becoming a unicorn was the best decision I ever made.
But I probably am not going to have it out for Friday then, but I am almost done with editing the highlight bit, so I'll have this one out 2 weeks after that, or a week after that, whatever I feel like doing. Yeah, my time zone changed on Halloween, so about a week and a half ago, it changed. We went back an hour, so if you don't have any time zone change where you are, yes, it probably changed by an hour. So...
America.
Yeah, it's well, no, because other countries have similar things, maybe for different reasons, and just different days. So yeah, we went from CDT to CST. We were on daylight savings times. Now we're back to normal time. But anyways, yeah, that changed. So I still try to post UTC on Twitch or on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, Twitch will say a different time because it'll adjust for you. But yes, so that is it for today, I guess. I'll be back Friday for stuff, and hopefully should have some more information as to when we're planning to do the Fallout stream stuff. We're thinking in not this weekend but the next weekend is our estimated start date, but we're thinking it's probably gonna be after that. Oh yeah, because you won't be here for 2 weekends in a row. Okay, it'll be a while because Michael's trying to complicate things. So
I want some family.
you know, but you could have stayed. You could have went down for Thanksgiving and came back that night.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
We got important things to do.
I like to see my family like a few weeks a year.
But we have some other ones we're planning on doing before then. So but more info on that later once I know actual specifics. So once we get into space, I wonder if keeping time will be metric. I don't know. It still is relevant to have time to where you are, but it will make things difficult. But probably won't be in my lifetime, so don't care. Don't forget the cat. I know, I'm working on it. We're working on it. So,
Cat's really important.
so yeah, that'll be it for today, I guess. So, just have a good one. Bye, y'all. Bye, Waffles. Have a good one. And where's Kitty? I'm glad the audio worked today, too. That's
Yes,
so good.
so well.
There's Kitty.
I can't wait to mess it up by plugging a headset in and seeing if it's okay.
No. We got to get you a mic. Like an XLR mic.
Cool.
No, I need to get you one so that you can actually talk instead of being in the background. Well, though you'd probably just also keep leaning back away from the mic all the time.
There's something special about background characters, you know? Sometimes they're better than the characters up front.
That's lewd. Oh, thanks, Jixie Cake. Just got that. So thanks for the subscription. 13 months. It's over a year. You get the special coffee cup.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, yeah, goodbye, guys. Have a good one.